my name is Stavros Mastrogiannis, and I'm the creator of the Live Your Way Thin system. In this presentation, I would like to explain the main differences between the Live Your Way Thin system and the typical weight loss program on the market today. I would like to start by making a comparison between planting a tree in the pot and planting a tree in the ground. Now, what do trees have to do with weight loss? Well, absolutely nothing. But it will help me illustrate a very important point. There are always benefits and drawbacks in every choice you make. The key is to make sure the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. If you look at these two trees, one planted in the ground and the other one in the pot, you can pretty much get fruits from either tree. You can even argue that the tree in the pot you might be able to grow a little faster because you have better control of the ground it grows in and also better control of its environment. However, the tree in the pot has one major drawback. It depends on you for its growth. In other words, you have to feed it, you have to water it, you might even have to add dirt to the pot over time. Basically, it requires ongoing effort if you want to keep getting fruit from this tree. The moment you stop taking care of the tree will simply die. On the other hand, the tree in the ground, yes, it has its own drawbacks, but it does not depend on you. Yes, it might need some initial help to grow, but once its root system develops, it can pretty much grow on its own. It requires a lot less effort to keep getting fruit from this tree. If you look at the Live Your Way Thin system, it's like the tree in the ground. It only requires a little initial conscious effort to get going actually, but very little conscious effort to maintain the results. Whereas the typical weight loss program is like the tree in the pot. Okay, it requires a lot of conscious effort to get going and ongoing conscious effort to maintain the results. Basically, you can achieve the same results with the Live Your Way Thin system as you can with the other weight loss programs, but the major drawback that the typical weight loss programs have is in the maintenance of the results. So let me explain what to expect to achieve with the Live Your Way Thin system, which is similar to a lot of the other weight loss programs. Let me go over the similarities first, and then we'll explain the differences. So what to expect? With the Live Your Way Thin system, you will lose weight. And again, you can lose weight with most of the other weight loss programs. With the Live Your Way Thin system, you will improve your health. And again, you can do the same thing with most of the other decent weight loss programs. With the Live Your Way Thin system, you will get stronger. And again, you will get stronger with most of the other weight loss programs. With the Live Your Way Thin system, you will end up with a toned body. And again, with most of the decent weight loss programs, you can achieve the same thing. Now, the difference is how you achieve the results. That's the main difference between the Live Your Way Thin system and the typical weight loss programs. How you get a result will determine if the result will be sustainable or not. Now, if you look at the typical weight loss program, it relies on motivation and willpower to get people to do what they need to do. In other words, it requires willpower to count calories every day. It requires willpower and motivation to count points every day. It requires willpower and motivation to keep measuring your food every time you eat. It requires willpower and motivation to make it to the gym. And of course, it requires willpower, and a lot of it, to resist temptations. You see, the problem with willpower and motivation is it requires conscious effort. In other words, your conscious mind. Let me explain a few things you need to know about the conscious mind. Did you know that in a typical day, 95% of your actions, thoughts, and behaviors are controlled by your subconscious mind? Your conscious mind only controls around 5%. According to the cognitive neuroscientists, your subconscious mind can process something like 20 million bits of environmental stimuli per second, whereas your conscious mind can only process 40. That's it. So basically, the conscious mind has a very limited processing power. It can only focus on one thing at a time. And here's the problem with that. If you're counting calories or points, okay, and you're using your conscious mind to do that, you're not enjoying your meal as much because you're not focusing on the taste of the food that you're eating. If you constantly have to focus on planning your meals, you're not focusing on the fun stuff that's happening around you. If you're using your conscious mind to think about your workouts and when you can get them in, again, you're missing out on life. And besides, all the thinking leads to burnout, regardless of the results you will achieve. I hear this all the time that, oh, once I see results, I'll be motivated to keep going. But unfortunately, that is not true. Because if it was true, how do you explain this? 95% of all the people who lose weight regain the weight back. If seeing results was motivating enough, then how come most people can't maintain the results? The reason is because the best results in the world would not keep most people motivated if the results were achieved through a method that is overwhelming. And any method that relies on willpower and motivation sooner or later leads to burnout for the vast majority of people. And this is a fact. Now, if you look at the 5% of the people who are able to keep the weight off with the current methods of weight loss, their whole life is about what they're eating, how much they're eating, and when they can exercise. That's not the way to. That's not a way to live, and most people don't want to live that way. Basically, with a typical weight loss program, you have to choose between a lean and healthy body or enjoying life. Well, most people choose enjoying life, and I don't blame them because I choose the same thing. With a Live Your Within system, you can have both. And let me explain how you can have both. The Live Your Within system, unlike the typical weight loss programs, does not rely on motivation or willpower for the maintenance of the results, but on habits. By the end of this program, you will have made eating right a habitual behavior. Eating the right way will also be a habitual behavior. Activity will be part of your everyday life. Your habits are controlled by your subconscious mind. And do you know what's great about that? There's many benefits having your subconscious mind control all the things that you need to do in order to stay in shape. Okay? It frees up your conscious mind to focus on the fun stuff in life. Okay? No willpower or motivation is needed, so basically no conscious effort. Basically, you can have a life and learn a healthy body, just like in healthy regions around the world. When I lived in Greece, all the things that we did that kept us in shape, we didn't consciously think of eating more vegetables or more fruits or take a walk. All those things were habitual behaviors. So our conscious mind was free to enjoy life. And if you look at other healthy regions around the world, it's the same thing. Their habits is what keeps them in shape. Let me give you an analogy that perfectly demonstrates my point. Let's say you're the pilot of a Airbus A380. This is this super jet, and you want to fly to Fiji for to spend some time on the beach. So as soon as the plane takes off, and by the way, let's say you're the only pilot, and I know it's against regulations, but for argument's sake, let's say you're the only pilot. So as soon as the plane takes off, you realize that the plane's turning in the wrong direction. So you look at the instruments and you realize that the autopilot is set to fly you to Antarctica. Now, what would make more sense? To grab the yoke and turn it to the direction you want to go and fight the autopilot all the way to Fiji, hoping you're going to stay awake long enough to make it there, and chances are you're not because it's a very long trip? Or would it make sense to take the time to reprogram the autopilot so the autopilot can fly you to Fiji, and all you have to do is monitor the instruments to make sure nothing goes wrong? Okay? Basically, we all have an autopilot, and that is our subconscious mind. Okay? So if you have a weight problem, it's because your autopilot, your subconscious mind, runs programs, which is your habits, that are bad for your weight and health. So if you want to lose weight and keep it off, you must change those programs. And that's exactly what the Live Your Within system will do for you. It's a very simple system, by the way. The sad fact is, though, that in our society, we're too quick to dismiss simple solutions. And we're always looking for some complicated solution. The fact is, the simplest solution is usually the right one. And this is especially true when it comes to weight loss. Let me explain how this whole system works. In my 25 years in the weight loss field and my upbringing in Greece, I've identified 8 healthy behaviors that I think should be part of everyone's life because these are the most important behaviors for weight loss and health. With my Live Your Within system, I will help you develop these behaviors and make them part of your everyday life. Okay, these behaviors include activity behaviors that will challenge your cardiovascular system, that will challenge your muscles, which, by the way, you don't need to kill your muscles to get results, unless, of course, you're going to join the next Olympics, then it's a different story. that will take your muscles to the full range of motion, behaviors that have to do with how you eat. And by the way, this is something very few weight loss programs teach. Did you know that how you eat something will affect your weight and health as much as what you eat? Did you know you could eat the exact same food, but depending on how you eat it, you can have different effects on your weight and health? And unfortunately, again, this is something uh, very few weight loss programs teach, if any. And other behaviors like what you eat, which I'm sure everybody's very familiar with. Now, the question is, how do you create new habitual behaviors? It's actually fairly simple. Repetition creates habits. Our three simple rule system is work on only one behavior at a time, break the behavior in the smallest action possible, repeat that action as often as possible without judgment. You do that and you can pretty much develop any behavior you like. Now, let me tell you a personal story that perfectly demonstrates the power of small actions. By the way, this was the experience that made me change the way I approach weight loss and fitness and helped me create the Live Your Weight In system as I teach it today. The first 8 to 10 years in the weight loss business, they were very frustrating years because although I was helping my clients achieve the results they wanted, they had a very hard time maintaining those results. They would get the results and then they will quit the exercise program or quit their diet and they will regain all the weight back they lost. So one day I was at my dentist and my dentist was lecturing me about the benefits of flossing and that I wasn't flossing enough. And by the way, that was not the first, second, or third time that he lectured me on that. It seemed like every time I would go for my cleanup, it would be the same lecture. And every time I would leave his office, I would be motivated to floss. I would do it for a couple of weeks and I would fall off the wagon. Sounds familiar? So I got very frustrated with myself because I'm like, I'm trying to get people to exercise regularly and I can't even get myself to floss. Something's wrong here. So that's what drove me to start doing research on how behaviors are developed. And that's when I came across the Kaizen method, which I consider the best way to apply new changes to people's lives. By the way, that's an ancient Asian philosophy on how to apply change. So what I learned from the philosophy, I decided to apply on flossing and see how well it would work. So I came up with the idea to start flossing one tooth, okay? Just one tooth every night. By the way, I told that to my dentist, and my dentist is also my client. And his reaction was, "You're not flossing, you're wasting your time." And I said to him, "You're missing the point. I'm not trying to floss. I'm trying to develop the habit of picking up the string every night. Flossing will come later." And what happened was, after I think it was like 2.5 to 3 months, no, it was more like 1.5 to 2 months, I found myself flossing every single tooth every night, and it became a habitual behavior. The only time I miss is if I run out of floss, and it doesn't happen too often. But anyway, so what I did was I started applying the same philosophy to with my clients on their exercise program and on their diet, and something amazing happened. People started to be able to maintain the results actually fairly easy. And all the things I was teaching them, they started becoming habitual behaviors. Emily is one of my first clients that tried my system as I teach it today. And the results were amazing. I mean, Emily had been trying to lose weight for many years before she even came to me. And with the same results, she would lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back. With my system, she was able to lose, I think it was around 40 pounds. And then what's great is it's been now 3 years since she lost the weight and she's able to maintain it with ease. The Live Your Weight In system is not just another weight loss program. This is the system that will revolutionize the whole weight loss industry. The key to sustainable weight loss is your daily habitual behaviors. So if you want sustainable weight loss, you must change the habits that got you here in the first place. There is no other way if you want to keep the weight off after you lose it. With the Live Your Weight In system, you will not just learn what you need to do in order to lose the weight and get in shape. You will also learn how to incorporate into your life and make habitual everything you need to do in order to lose the weight and get in shape. Unfortunately, though, very few weight loss programs focus on helping people change their habitual behaviors. This is a big reason why, in spite of the fact that we have more than doubled the amount of money that we spend on weight loss products and services per year, and we have absolutely nothing to show for it. The obesity rate has almost tripled in the past 25 years, and our health is getting worse. It's time for a sustainable solution to the weight problem, and that is exactly what the Live Your Way Thin system offers. Yeah, I want to emphasize this. Your habits hold the key to sustainable weight loss. The Live Your Way Thin system is an alternative way to lose weight and gain in shape without having to count calories, points, or measuring your food, and without crazy workouts. Who has time for crazy workouts anyway? Up until recently, you can only join my system by coming to my facility in Danbury. Now I offer my unique system for sustainable weight loss online, so no matter where you live, you can join. To learn more, you can visit my website at liveyourwaythin.com. I have also included a link in the comment section below. If you have any questions or comments, you can post them below or simply contact me through my website. Thank you for watching, and if you need help with losing weight and getting in shape, I hope you give my Live Your Way Thin system a try. Losing weight and getting in shape is not as hard as most weight loss programs make it. Thank you.